How to get lean fast, starting at 30% body fat, 5 simple steps. Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Diamonds and I'm the founder of Sculpt by Science. I've been at 30% body fat a few times and I know exactly how to get the results I want. 2017 was the first time I started at 35% and I got down to 12%. I did a dirty bulk in 2018 and I did it again, and I repeated this process in 2019 and 2020 and 2021. Each and every single year, improving on my research and improving the process to make it as easy as possible. I built Sculpt by Science to help people achieve the same results and make it sustainable. Look at Tori in 16 weeks, Wayne, Avalon, and Nicholas even did this in 4 weeks, and the list is endless. I say this because in this video, I won't be sharing what I did, but what Tori did. I will share every single step I've done taking Tori from dad bod at 30% body fat to finally getting him on stage and winning his show. After watching this video, you will know exactly what it will take to finally get lean and beyond. If you're watching this video, you've probably tried something to get lean. You've probably tried keto, the warrior diet, low carb, the list is endless. I know this because all the clients I've ever worked with have gone down this rabbit hole. Losing body fat can feel very frustrating. There's so many different diets and training programs out there, and they all seem to disagree with each other. I'm sure after you watch this video, YouTube's gonna recommend another one completely contradicting what you just watched. If you're watching this video, you've seen the sea of noise about getting to your goal. If you feel like you're about to quit, I promise you this is the end of the tunnel. I'm going to show you what you need to do in 5 simple steps to finally get lean. It's so important to understand the science so you can know how to manipulate it to your advantage. By now, you've heard calories in versus calories out. If you want to lose body fat, then you need to create and sustain a caloric deficit, which is eating fewer calories than you burn. You can do this by number 1, increasing the number of calories you burn, number 2, reducing the number of calories you consume, number 3, a combination of the two, which is exactly what I'm going to do here and explain both. Let's decode our calories out. We loosely refer to this as our total daily energy expenditure, also known as our TDEE, the total number of calories you burn each day. Your total energy expenditure is broken up into 3 major components. Number 1 is your basal metabolic rate, your BMR. Number 2, physical activity level. And number 3, thermic effect of food. 1. Basal metabolic rate, your BMR, is essentially how many calories your body burns per day in order to perform all the basic metabolic functions such as breathing, blood circulation, nutrient processing, cell production. In other words, if you sat on a couch all day long and did nothing but breathe, this would roughly be the number of calories you'd burn. This is typically accounting for 50 to 70% of your daily energy needs. Now, the body's metabolic rate is influenced by various factors such as your age, fat mass, fat-free mass, and thyroid hormone circulation, but some people's bodies also naturally just burn more energy than others. Number 2 is your physical activity level. This generally constitutes 20 to 35% of your total caloric expenditure. One major component that dictates your physical activity are your formal exercising routines such as weightlifting and cardio. Within your physical activity is your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It includes typing on your desk, bringing groceries to the car, fidgeting, standing up from your desk, or even singing in the shower. NEAT is basically just all the subconscious movements and light activity you do. High levels of NEAT are advantageous from a fat loss perspective, and it is believed to be largely responsible for the massive difference in total metabolic rate we see. NEAT is perfectly depicted in a 2014 study comparing the amount of NEAT burnt in calories according to the occupation. Number 3, the thermic effect of food, the third component of your total daily energy expenditure. It is the amount of energy expended by breaking down and processing the food for use and storage. Simply put, your body burns calories as it digests, absorbs, transports, and stores the food that you eat. Step number 1 is setting up the goal. It is extremely important before you go anywhere, you understand what your final destination is and also determine exactly where you are. In this case, we're going to be utilizing my client Tori as an example, so you guys can also apply the same principles that I used with Tori to yourself, so that you can quickly go from 30% body fat finally and get to 10%, and even in Tori's case, he got to single digit. The information we're going to need to be able to set up the goal first is to determine Tori's body fat percentage. So I took his image and I compared it utilizing my eye test and my own experience, what image closely represents the current situation with where Tori is. And I determined that to be roughly at 30% body fat. So we've determined that he's at 30% body fat and that he wants to get to 10%. Now, we understand at the fastest way to get to 10%, we want to lose roughly about 1% of your body fat per week. Now, based off of that mathematics, Tori's at 30% body fat and he wants to get to 10, he needs to lose 20%. At the high end, I like only losing 1% of body fat a week to avoid any of the negative side effects of being in too much of a deep caloric deficit. I wanted this to be a new lifestyle for him. So if he needs to lose 20%, he will lose 1% a week. It will take him 20 weeks. Now, to use maths, we can determine that Tori wants to lose 1% of body fat a week. He's 217 pounds. 1% of his current body weight is 2.17. Now, to make it easy, let's just leave that at 2 pounds of 1% of his body weight. And he wants to lose 20% of that. 20% of his current body weight comes out to be 43.4 pounds. To make the mathematics easy for the sake of this video, we'll round that off to 44 pounds. So Tori has to lose 44 pounds. He will lose 2 pounds a week, which means it's going to take him 22 weeks. Now, utilizing the mathematics, we can see it will roughly take Tori 20 to 22 weeks to reach his final destination. Now we know how long it's going to take. Let's finally move into step number 2, which I call the route, and by far the most important. With the route, we're going to utilize 2 main methods. Number 1 will be the nutrition and number 2 will be the diet. Now, with the nutrition, to figure out Tori's information, we're going to need the following: his age, weight, height, his body fat percentage, how many times he plans on training, and his gender. Now we can determine what Tori's maintenance calories are. And you can use 3 to 4 different calculators and take the average of the maintenance calculators. The easiest way that I recommend you to utilize is utilizing a free app that you can find on the Google Play Store or on the App Store, MyFitnessPal. And once you download it, the very first questions it asks is this information that I've just mentioned. Now, utilizing MyFitnessPal and even comparing it against all the different calculators, even with AI, I determined that Tori's maintenance calories, the calories he needs to be eating to maintain 217 pounds, to be 2,705 calories. In your case, I just recommend the simple method of downloading the app MyFitnessPal. It's free, and input this very same information that I've given you. We understand, and let's imagine that this is 1 pound of fat. If you want to lose 1 pound of fat, research has shown that to be able to burn 1 pound of fat, for this 1 pound to disappear, you need to burn 3,500 calories. And this is where we get dividing that by 7 days in a week. That's going to give you a 500 daily caloric deficit. And if you're in a deficit of 500 calories every day for 7 days, you will lose 1 pound of fat, and that's how we came out to that mathematics. Now, for Tori to lose 1 pound of fat a week just through the diet, we take 2,705 minus 500 calories, which comes out to his calories of 2,205 calories. We now know how much energy, how much food Tori should be eating each and every single day to be able to lose 1 pound of fat. However, stick to the very end of the video because I'm going to tell you exactly what he did to make that 2 pounds of fat, which made it very, very easy. Now that we've established Tori's calories, what I want to do when working with me, my main focus is at bare minimum to maintain the muscle mass, if not build muscle tissue and lose all of the fat. That being said, because he's working with me, I can ensure that that happens, but where this comes into play is his macros. Now we need to determine Tori's protein, his carbs, and his fats, which are the main macronutrients. And we're always going to start off with protein, which is going to make sure that we're in muscle protein synthesis so that we can maintain the muscle mass, if not even build throughout the entire plan. Now, how I determine people's protein. First, we want to figure out what is Tori's lean body mass. And that's a fancy way of saying what is the mass of his body minus all of the fat. We know he's at 30% body fat, so his lean body mass will be the rest of it, which is 70%. So we took 217 pounds and multiplied that by 70%, which came out to be 151.9 pounds. To rough that over, we just say 152 pounds. And I give roughly 1.25 grams, which is at the high end, because I want to be able to make Tori feel full. I want to make sure that I'm at the very edge of muscle protein synthesis, and also to take advantage of his metabolism. Your body burns more calories digesting protein, so I put it at 1.25 to make it a little bit more custom, and his total protein intake came out to be at 190 grams. So it was 151.9 multiplied by 1.25 grams of protein per pound of body weight, which came out to 190 grams of protein. The next macronutrient I always figure out is fat at the very end. When I work with someone, I like giving more so on the lower end in terms of fat intake.
I just want to give someone enough fat to make sure that their hormonal profile is optimized, which is usually 20% of their total calories. So 20% of 2,205 calories. However, in Tori's case, I made it a little bit more custom and I made it 22%, which gave us the nice number of 55 grams of fat. So now we know he's eating 190 grams of protein, 55 grams of fat. How do we figure out the carbs? All I did is figure out how many calories are left from the 2,205 calories, which gave us a total of 235 grams of carbohydrates. Now, before many of you say, hey Mike, that is way too much carbs, remember this, your body's main energy source is from glucose, carbohydrates. Your brain's main energy source is carbohydrates. And this is the example I give all of my clients. Remember, your body is a Ferrari. It is a very efficient machine, and you want to make sure you're giving it enough fuel for it to reach its destination. What typically happens when you cut carbs too low, you end up losing the weight, but you run out of gas before you reach your final destination. And over the next 20 weeks, I slowly decrease those total amount of carbs, but make sure that he's fighting for every bit of muscle and also that he's enjoying the process throughout the entire diet. I highly recommend you utilize this approach. But now we've determined Tori's macros. If you guys want me to create a PDF showing you the different calculators that I've utilized and even how I do it with AI, leave the video the gentle thumbs up. Just hit it with a like. And if I see if you guys want it from the demand or in the comments, if you're like, hey Mike, show us the PDF or create the PDF for us, I'll definitely do that for you because I want everyone to win into 2024. So just leave the video the gentle thumbs up and let me know in the comment section down below, Dr. Mike, make the PDF for us about the diet, and I'll make that happen. So now we're at the final piece of the puzzle. And when I build a diet, I make sure of a couple of things. Number one, it's easy. Number two, it's repeatable. And number three, that is enjoyable. So I got to chat to Tori and we had a call with all the favorite foods that Tori enjoys. I even told him, hey Tori, tell me all the foods you enjoy, even that you consider unhealthy. Because what I know is if I make this diet for him enjoyable, he's gonna do it even when he finishes working with me. And he told me he loves French toast, that he enjoys smoothies, he likes the salad here and there, and based off of that, I built him an entire plan. So what we determined is Tori for breakfast had a French toast in the morning, a chocolate French toast to be specific, and I used some nice low-calorie syrups, and also we added 1 scoop of protein to have as his breakfast. Moving on into his next meal, I decided to give Tori a smoothie based off of what he told me. It's very easy for him to make and he could take it on the go. The next meal for lunch, what we would have is an easy steak salad that he could have each and every single day. This was to make sure that he had his micronutrients in set in terms of his vegetable intake. And then finally for dinner, we made sure that he had chicken breast with mixed vegetables. In some cases, if I wanted to get high volume, you guys know that I love pumpkin, I was giving him pumpkin, and Tori ate that same meal plan, the one that I just described to you, each and every single day. And he lost 10 pounds in the first 4 weeks because it was easy, it was repeatable, and it was enjoyable. Now we've figured out the diet, we need to determine how to train. In general, what I always want in any training program is that we're hitting each and every single muscle group twice, that we're training with good form so that you're efficient in your workout and so that you're also being able to build muscle tissue through this process. So if you're training 3 times a week, I always like going full body because it allows me to hit each and every single muscle group twice. If you're gonna train 4 times a week, I like going for an upper body, lower body, take a break, upper body, lower body split. Here you get to hit both muscle groups twice. And then if you're doing 5 sessions, maybe a full body split or an upper body, lower body push-pull legs. And then finally, if you like training 6 times, we like doing a push-pull legs and repeat. But with that being said, because you guys have stuck thus far, I'm going to save you guys the pain of being able to figure out what your plan is. This is a plan that I've designed, and it has a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, and a 6-day plan, and it's linked in the description of this video. So you can just go click that and download that. That is to say a big thank you to you guys, and I know that the people watching are super motivated. So all I ask in return is a gentle thumbs up. But now that training is taken care of, we need to move into step number 3, which is what allowed me to accelerate Tori's fat loss to make sure that he was dropping more than 2 pounds a week. And That is the cardio routine. Now, before we move into step number 3, if you want me to take you through the exact same transformation as I did for Tori, you're a busy professional like Tori and you finally want to achieve your dream physique moving into 2024, I can do that entirely start to finish. All you need to do is go into the description down below and click on the link that says one-on-one coaching and fill out the short questionnaire so that I can gather all the necessary information to truly determine if I can help you. We'll jump on a call, we'll determine where you are, and we'll devise a plan that you can be able to follow exactly like Tori and finally get to 10% body fat. And at the time of the recording, it will probably be Black Friday by the time you're watching, so there will be a small Black Friday sale. All you need to do is apply, and that will only apply for Black Friday. That being said, step number 3 will be cardio. And I've coached for 10 years and I understand what is the easiest and best cardio for anyone. And what I've consistently seen is that walking is the best cardio. Number 1, the research consistently shows because walking is so low intensity, it will not tap into your glycogen stores. It's always going to want to tap into your fat stores. So I've seen when my clients walk more, they always lose more fat. And the same applies to me. When I made walking my main form of cardio, my weight loss would be so much quicker. 1, because I could do it every day. 2, because it wasn't so taxing on my body. And 3, I could walk as much as I wanted to because it's something I've been doing my entire life. So in this case, that's all the cardio we gave Tori. Now, remember when I told you Tori's 5'9" and roughly at 217 pounds? According to this chart, if Tori walks 8,000 steps, he burns more than 400 calories plus per day walking those 8,000 steps. So that was the cardio I gave Tori in the first week. We started at 8,000 steps, and every 2 weeks, I increased that 8,000 steps by 1,000. And at the end of the entire 20-week period, because Tori wanted to really see the veins coming up his abs, he wanted to get to single digit, and he managed to get to 7%. Tori got as high as 20,000 steps, and he would fall within that range in the last 4 weeks. So Tori in the first week went to 8,000. 2 weeks after, 10,000. Another 2 weeks, he went to 12,000, 14,000, 16,000, and he was at 20,000. And he did this gradually as he got into a routine, as it became easy. And as I mentioned, Tori was roughly burning 400 calories at 8,000. That was helping him burn that extra pound of fat. And in the first 4 weeks, Tori lost 10 pounds. And it was because of the combination of the caloric deficit, which was allowing him to lose 1 pound, and the walking he was doing every day, which allowed him to burn another pound of fat a week. And that's how we were able to get to that sustainably. So the caloric deficit wasn't too aggressive on him, and he was enjoying walking because he could spend time with his family, he could walk his dog, it was something that he could repeat, and it was very, very easy. And you can see that he has never been in this shape. Now, that's all the cardio we did. And I highly recommend start at 8,000 and be patient and work your way up. When you do a laddered approach, a systemized approach, it allows your body to adapt to the new stresses and the new changes you're giving to it so that this can become a lifestyle. I have no concern that Tori will ever regain the weight because just walking that 10,000 steps, he will burn 500 calories. And mathematically, if he's burning 500 calories a day, he will be able to keep 24 pounds of fat off of his body as long as he's doing the 10,000 steps. And that's why I love walking much more than any other cardio. But yes, you can use high intensity interval training if you want to be able to take it a step further. But I highly recommend that you keep that for the later weeks and just start with a cardio. Step number 4 is tools of the Titans, is to be able to track. And we want to be able to make sure that throughout the 20 weeks, we're seeing progress and that the data is telling us that the body's trending in the right direction. The first thing I like doing is always tracking utilizing photos. So I told Tori each and every single week, I want you to take 3 photos, your front, your side, and back, in the same angle, same location, same time. And what the photos would do is that it would give me a clear depiction of what's happening, because the weight scale can increase and decrease on a day-to-day basis, which may throw you off. Is it increasing because you're gaining fat, or because you're gaining muscle, or is it decreasing because you're losing muscle? However, the photos will be able to tell us what the truth is. So what I would do is compare week to week, each and every single week, and the photos are extremely important so that I can have a visual confirmation if the diet and the cardio is working. Now that I've been able to determine through photos, we definitely want to use a weight scale. I highly recommend using an app called Happy Scale, and you'll be able to input what your day-to-day weigh-ins are. And by doing this, you'll be able to, number one, determine, and the most important part, the trend of your weight loss. Is the graph going down? What is your moving average, which is extremely important. Utilizing the photos and the weight scale will tell you if you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. The third tool that I love utilizing is a tape measurement, and do this every 2 weeks. I want you to track your weight, your shoulders, your midsection, and your glutes and legs. And this can sometimes tell us if you're going through body recomposition, because it's very likely that your chest size can increase, your bicep size increase, but your waist is getting smaller, which is usually a positive confirmation for body recomposition, that you're building muscle and you're losing fat. And utilizing these 3 tools and tracking each and every single day in terms of the weight scale, tracking your photos once a week, and tracking your measurements every 2 weeks is going to be incredible tools to tell you, hey Tori, you're trending in the right direction, or hey Tori, it's time to make a change. Now, what to do if your weight scale hasn't changed? I highly recommend you take 7 days minimum and track your weight every day. And if you see that your weight hasn't shifted and the photos you can't tell a difference, and show it even to your friend or anybody to say, hey, do you see a difference? And if you don't see a difference, after 7 days, give it 3 more days. And if 10 days have passed, your weight scale isn't moving, the photos don't look any different, then make a small adjustment of 100 calories and then go through the entire week again. It took you months and years to gain that belly fat, love handles, and chest fat. It will take you a few months, maybe a year, to lose all of that fat again. But the most important part is that it's going to happen. And those are the tools I utilize with Tori. And now, without ever needing me again, he can just track that, make sure it's trending in the direction he wants to, and make a decision on his own. Now, finally, after step 4, we will move into the final step. Step 5 is consistency. Throughout this entire process, I made sure with the diet that Tori was consistent and that he was enjoying it. What I also did, because I saw that Tori dropped 10 pounds in the first 4 weeks, I started implementing weekly refeeds, and this is just implementing a cheat meal. It's also very easy on your mental strain because you're being able to take a break and you're also looking forward towards your hard work and rewarding that. So what I was giving Tori, he would have a cheesecake, which he absolutely loved, or he had a burger. So this felt more like a lifestyle, and it didn't feel like he wasn't getting to press the red button. At the end of the 20 weeks, he had no desire to have a burger or a cheesecake because that's what he was already doing throughout the 20 weeks. So not only was he training and maintaining more muscle, but mentally, he could also have this as a lifestyle because he was able to eat the foods he enjoyed. In terms of his walking wasn't just a place for him to lose fat, it was a great way to meditate, for him to understand his thoughts, and it was a great exercise for him and his family to enjoy together. This way, it wasn't taking away from his life. Also, he was utilizing the tools consistently because it was a very easy process. Step on the scale, write down the weight on the app, take photos once a week, and then do measurements every 2 weeks. Those tasks all take you 2 to 5 minutes to perform, and he was doing so consistently. And I could ensure, and I could tell by the way Tori felt, that this was going to be something he could do for the rest of his life. If the plan you're doing isn't a plan that you can do for the rest of your life, I highly recommend you reassess the route that you're taking, make an adjustment to the route so that you can finally reach your goal, and that you know, I never have to go through such a period again because this is the new way of life. I'll leave the video here. If you want to work with me directly, fill out the questionnaire down below. Give me as much detailed information to be able to determine if I can help you, and then we'll figure out how to be able to have a similar transformation to Tori. If you want me to create that diet PDF, comment down below, Mike, create the diet PDF for me, and also leave the video the gentle thumbs up, and I'll make that happen for you. But I'll leave the video here. These 2 videos here are amazing, so you have an idea on what to do with your diet. And if you're new, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.